This video is going to be about one of the Icon CJ3Bs, which we affectionately refer to as the dog. These are great little trucks. Unfortunately, they are extremely difficult to build in ways you really wouldn't think, because they're, after all, a pretty simplistic vehicle. I like to say that they're the automotive equivalent of a good pair of flip-flops. Super simple, they're compact, they'll fit down horse trails, on motorcycle trails, and they're just a blast. They're super compact, really short proportions, great visibility, and I love them. Problem is to get all of the suspension and powertrain engineering and all the details of the design to work on such a small platform is a tremendous task. So at the end of the day, to build these costs significantly more than our FJs, and one could argue that the FJ is a lot more versatile. You know, they have air conditioning and more ergonomic adjustments, more room for different size people, more room for cargo, and blah, blah, blah. But these trucks do hold kind of a sweet spot for certain people, including myself. So we actually discontinued them as a standard Icon model about 1.5 years ago because we were losing our butts on them. And then I wanted to build one with a couple new improvements, which again makes me an idiot, because, oh yeah, but if they had the aluminum body instead of the reproduction steel bodies, oh, they'd be so much nicer. And oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could use the Volkswagen turbo diesel in it instead of the Ecotec GM? Well, I was right, but unfortunately, neither of those new ideas reduced cost. In fact, they added cost. So on this truck, we went significantly over budget, and my client was kind enough and understanding of the process, but it got to the point where I couldn't keep charging him. So we had to eat a considerable amount of money on this truck, and we're building one more, but I gotta tell you, I fear that's probably gonna be the end of it, because over the course of building this truck, it took 2 of my top technicians full time to build it. And in the time it took them to build it, we literally probably could have built 3 or 4 FJs. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make sense of this in the future. So we started with, I believe it was a 1953 CJ3B that was just beat to piss beyond salvation. But that gave us the legal entity from which we could restore and modify to build this truck. The body is built by the same supplier that builds our FJ bodies, Aqualoo, up in Canada. It's 50-52, H32, 5/32 thick, unannealed, marine-rated aluminum. That is then sanded to perfection and then surface coated in the Icon proprietary Teflon polyester hybrid powder coat, and in this case in the sand tan color. The underside and inside floor surfaces of the body are all coated in a heat-cured polyurea. For axles on this one, we're running Dana 44s built by Dynatrac. Those have ARB locking differentials and 4-wheel disc brakes. The brakes are power assist, and we're running the Tom Lee power steering. I believe it's a 16.5-to-1 ratio. And then the transmission is the Aisin Warner AX15 5-speed manual. And that's paired to a new Process 231 transfer case with a slip yoke eliminator. The engine is spec'd out and designed by our friends at HPA. They've been quite successful doing kits for late model Jeeps, and they were kind enough to work with us on this sort of off-menu equation, and really happy with this motor. We had to gear the differentials down at 456s to get the proper power curve with our 31-inch tire, but we're putting out just under 270 foot-pounds of torque, and it's just a blast to drive. It's really trackable and manageable, but if you spool up that turbo, this little bugger will take off on you. It's good fun. rear bumpers were designed by Icon. They, along with the chassis, was built by our partners at Art Morrison Enterprises. The chassis is 180 wall 2x4 mandrel bent, and then all the brackets and ladder bars are all laser cut hydraulic braked panels. That chassis is then all precision welded and powder coated in a black cat finish. We're running the autometer gauges into a laser cut panel. We're running the traditional Icon CNC knurled and engraved knobs. You'll notice there's less knobs than normal because this is a simpler vehicle than our FJs. So we simply have controls for lights, wiper, and heater. And then you have indicator lights for four-wheel drive, check engine, parking brake, turn signals, and high beam. There's a 12-volt power port in the dash. And the audio system on this is quite clever. It's Bluetooth dependent, so you control it from your smartphone, and then there's a volume knob hidden underneath the dash, and then two speakers again hiding under the dash, and a marine rated amp. So nice and simple, but good quality audio. For seating, the rear seat is an original seat, which we modified in lightweight holes to create a better match for the aesthetic of the front seats. The front seats are handcrafted in aluminum, inspired by kind of vintage aircraft seating. Because again, the whole vibe of the truck is kind of like a Area 51 research vessel, you know, from another millennium, I don't know. So it just kind of really helped with the aesthetic. And they're way more comfortable than you think. We're using memory foam in the removable seat bottoms wrapped in Chilowich. And then the stock seats on these trucks suck. And these, despite their simplicity, are, you know, quite comfortable, and they're super charming. So really happy with those. We're running dual Cole Hersey 3-speed wipers with modern arms and blades, and we're running all LED lighting. You'll notice on the tailgate, we did the Icon powder coat process where it says "The Dog." I stole that font from the original fonts that would have been on the stock tailgate where it said 4-wheel drive. Little history on The Dog. That term was popularized during World War II when these trucks really became man's best friend out in the battlefield. So guys would affectionately call them the Dog or Dog Face because of their long nose. And the nickname just sort of stuck. And when I was doing my research on these vehicles and found it, I thought it was super cool. So we went ahead and got the trademark and kept it. We're also running coilover suspension, running Fox shocks with a nitrogen charge and remote canisters, and Eibach coils. Truck drives great, surprisingly light for such a short wheelbase vehicle. Pretty low curb weight as well. We had to work for a while to get the charge rate, the rebound rate and everything on the shocks just right. But I'm real happy with the end result. I just wish I could build them more effectively. I suppose if we saw more demand for these like we do with the FJs and the BRs, then I could invest in tooling to standardize and build sets of parts in batches of 20 or 50. But maybe I made a mistake by picking such a niche of niche vehicles that isn't in as many hearts and souls as the FJs and the Broncos are. Fun to build this truck. We got one more we're building, that might be it. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video and hopefully better understand what we're up to. Any questions, call us 818-280-3333. Our website, of course, is icon4x4.com. On Facebook, it's Jonathan Ward, and on Instagram, it's icon4x4. Thank you all very much.